Hello everyone, I hope you are well out there and thank you for tuning in to our Piktochart series. My name is Wilson and I'm a project specialist with Piktochart and I'll be your host for today's Piktochat. Piktochat is a series of chats with leaders and entrepreneurs for them to inspire the future with their knowledge and experience. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Venus, a psychologist and an affiliated scholar with Stanford, and also a soon-to-be entrepreneur who is an avid Piktochart user. It's a pleasure to have you on our show today. Hello Venus, how are you doing?
Thank you. Hello. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about you about Piktochart.
That's great. We're so delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you. And I thought before we go on with our Piktochat, perhaps you would like to start off by introducing yourself to our audience today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a child psychologist, so I'm very interested in child development and really thinking about creative ways to support families in their local communities so that they can thrive. And after my clinical training, I got an aha moment. And that aha moment was, well, sometimes it's not really the people who are sick, it's really our system. So I went on to do an additional fellowship trying to understand system innovation and also technology. After that year of training, one of my colleagues, we just feel like we need to do something. So right now we're preparing our startup. So I'm not yet an entrepreneur, but in 6 months, I'm going to be one. So we're just like thinking about new ideas and new strategies to really support people in their local community to get the healthcare, mental health care, and support that they need. So that's basically me.
And I think that's a very exciting stage to be in. And I'm sure your story today will be able to inspire a lot of our Piktochat users out there who are probably also in the same stage as you are right now. So let's get started with the Piktochat today. And I'm curious
Definitely.
to find out more, like how did you first discover Piktochat?
So I have to tell you this story. Everybody use PowerPoint. Some people might be happy with it. I wasn't. Like I just felt like it's so limiting. Like I wanted to do more. So what I did was I did a big jump. I started to learn how to use Photoshop, Illustrator, and it was okay. I mean, I was learning it. I really enjoy it, but it took me like a million hours to actually get an image done. And I started to really wonder, is there anything that is in between? So better than PowerPoint, but less intensive than Illustrator or Photoshop. And then I talked to one of my designer colleagues. I was like, hey, like I really need something like a platform or something to help me to do better pitch document and better deck. And then she basically recommended me to use Piktochart. That's how I got connected with Piktochart, and then I become such an active user. I love it.
And how long was that ago when you first discovered Piktochat?
It was just like 4 months or 5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I just fell in love with it. Like just so user friendly, and then I just keep using it and using it every day.
Well, we're so glad that you are one of our avid users and thank you for your support as well. Since we're talking about also the role that you are doing right now, where you are looking to be a soon to be entrepreneur, looking to start up
Mm-hmm.
your organization in 6 more months' time. And I was curious to know,
Mm-hmm.
like, why is visual communication so important for your role?
I think it's just human being. We see things and then we feel things. And for my work, I really need to push for the idea that people can thrive in their local community, and we need to actually grow community-based organizations and nonprofits to make them stronger. And I need to make sure that the people I talk to, they feel the problem and they need to feel the solution. And there's nothing better than visual communication. Like I need to tell a story, I need to show them the story, make them feel. So that's, I think, basically why visual communication is super important.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people, you always say this, that people receive communication verbally or through
Mm-hmm.
audio, but the most effective
Yeah.
way is always through visuals because visuals can tell a story within
Mm-hmm.
seconds. And I think for any organization that's looking to communicate or educate the public about certain
Mm-hmm.
issues, visual communication is an effective way to do that. So we're glad that you've chosen Piktochart to be one of the visual communication tools for your organization. Maybe you can also share like your story on how perhaps visual communication or Piktochart as a whole has benefited you so far. I've heard some stories about the pitch that you've won. So I'm curious to hear
Yes.
about that or anything else that has benefited you through visual communication.
Yeah. So one of the challenges for my colleague and I is that like we're talking about system change. So system change is not something that you can just talk about it. It just like it takes like multiple days and then concepts are just like really messy. So really we need to like hash out the graphic of like what are we doing, right? We need to show people this is how if we change A, B may get changed, and then three, C potentially will get changed as well. So it's like a chain effect.
Okay.
Then we started to really put into more time, like basically to design our graphic and then visual communication strategies. So we did actually many different pitches. The good thing is that we just got our funding. So we did use Piktochart to actually do our deck and then to share with one of our funders that, this is what we want to do. Clearly lay out our plan. So it was very helpful. And then some other pitches that we did was more for the customers. So right now, when we go to community-based organizations and nonprofits, we need to also show them very efficiently about what we can do to help and why we want to be here to help and to work together to improve the health of communities. And I think like I use Piktochart as well. Basically, everything I do is on Piktochart right now. So it's just so easy for me to modify different deck. So from deck 1 to deck 2 to individualize it for people. And it just saved me so much time because there are so many different templates and I pick a good template and I can just build upon that template. So that's basically some of my successes with Piktochart, and people love it. Like not only me, but I think a lot of the audience, they really enjoy the deck. And then my colleague, who is going to be a co-founder of the startup, and she's not here today, but she also really liked Piktochart. So we're big fans.
And that's so amazing to hear from you. And of course, congratulations to the both of you for also receiving the
Thank
funding
you.
to be able to kickstart this journey. And yeah, we're so glad that
Mhm.
Piktochart is able to also cheer you on as you go through this. And well done to the both of you. Well, now that we kind of heard about why visual communication is important in your role and how Piktochart has benefited your startup, perhaps you can share with us, like out of the so many creation that you've done with Piktochart, what is your like, proudest or one that brought you so much memory that you think it brought the most impact for you?
Definitely. One of my favorites is this roadmap. It's kind of silly because I feel like at that point I was like really thinking about, when we talk to community-based organizations or nonprofits, we're really inviting them to a journey. So I really want to make a journey, like showing them, this is what we do. So I actually have a car here. So, like their goals and then their cars. And then I was like thinking about how should I do it. So at first I actually tried to do it in Adobe Illustration, but of course, like I'm not a good user. I'm not an expert user. So I actually wasn't able to make it. And I was like starting to think about, okay, so how I can do it like on Piktochart. So this is what I did. I don't know whether I can actually move it around to show you. Yeah, so this is like basically just like circle, just like different layer of circle as you can see. Yeah, so you can like, these are basically the dotted line. The base is a circle basically. It's a circle, and then I basically this one I just download. I'm moving it around so that you can see it. So you can see that I actually didn't take off anything. So I just like use circle to hide different part that I didn't want, and then I just put together just a roadmap that I wanted, and I think it's pretty. I really enjoy it. So this is the roadmap basically.
So how long did you take to kind of like create this whole?
For this one,
Yeah, for
I
this.
think like just like after I thought about how to do it, I think it probably only took me like 10 minutes to do it. So it was
Wow,
like super easy.
that's
Just
impressive.
put together different color and stuff like together. They're just like circle, like they're all on, Piktochart, and then this is the circle on Piktochart. Everything's on Piktochart.
Yeah.
I just at the end added, this is Piktochart as well, the word, and then I added the people there, and that's it. Yeah, and this is also on Piktochart. I just like move it around. So yeah, this is
That's a really
by
nice
far my
visual.
favorite.
Yeah, and I like how you also kind of
Yeah,
integrated the color of your branding, I believe, which is like purple. So you can see
yeah,
the colors as well.
exactly. So it was like really fun, and I was like super proud because I just like used circles
Yeah.
like to make something that I needed to use. So that's basically it. This is my favorite by far.
Nice, well done. In looking at the things that you've created, Piktochart, I'm sure you have some expertise even in this area of designing. And so if you could offer the three most important design tips, what would that be for you?
So first of all, I have to say that I actually do not have expertise in design. I actually think that Piktochart helped me a lot because there are so many different templates already. So I just like kind of borrow ideas. I I sort of feel like I got some of the ideas here from another template.
Okay.
So it's just like when I don't have any idea, I just like browse around and see how you'll organize the deck. So I want to put that out there first. Some of my usual strategies would be like the main message. I usually just keep one main message
Mm,
on one slide. And I wouldn't tell more than like 3 or 4 main messages throughout the deck. Like I feel like the story really matter and you really want to communicate with the audience that, this is the message that I want to tell you. And these are the evidence. These are the materials that support the message. So that's number one. And then number two is space. I don't know like how you feel about it, but I'm like so nervous whenever I see like many things on one slide. Like I just feel like I just cannot digest it. So space is really important. So I usually put tons of space on my deck. And also I think that give people like kind of a space to imagine too, because you're basically leaving something blank, like literally on the deck. And people may just fill it in using their imagination or whatever they're thinking about. And then I think number three is definitely color. I somehow feel like people don't pay a lot of attention to it, especially in academia. So in academia, people just like put things together and stuff like that. But I do feel like if you use consistent color and a color that can represent you and your mission, I think that's very powerful to show people that you actually thought about it. And actually, it will help people feel it a little bit more to deeper in their heart. So those will be my 3 recommendations.
And I really appreciate your intent with making sure that your audience gets the message, like especially your second
Mm-hmm.
point, like having white space so that it's not like
Yep.
oversaturated with so much information, and also the colors as well, because like we know
Yeah.
colors evokes certain emotion. It helps to communicate our message better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, well done on you
Yeah.
with the intent that you have behind the design that you create with Piktochart as well. And I'm sure that those tips will be helpful and insightful even for some of our listeners right now. And we're coming to the last question. What is your favorite feature about Piktochart?
I have like so many. If you really need me to pick one, that's definitely, I'm looking at the picture chart. So definitely the photo frame. It's just so easy to use. I use it a lot. Because I think the idea is that if I don't have this tool, I have to go back to Photoshop
Yeah.
or Illustrator,
Mhm.
and it would take me like 15, 20 minutes or sometimes like 30 minutes just to make one like photo in a particular shape.
Yeah.
And think about that, like, I work, I'm a psychologist and I'm trying to start my startup. I wouldn't really want to spend all of my time using a program that I'm not familiar with and it's too complicated for me to just make one picture or image. So Piktochart basically gives me the 1 second solution. I can just like plug in the image, right? And the color are so pretty too. I need to show you this too. I actually did not pick the color. I was so inspired by this color that you all picked here. I actually just, so you can see that I didn't change anything. I used the original color that you all picked. I
Yeah.
just built on it because I think it's just such a creative, inviting, and innovative color that I wanted to use too. This is my favorite by far. I really love it.
That's great to know about our photo frame and how it's helpful for you. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up. And thank you so much, Venus, for joining us today and sharing your inspiring stories with us in this Picto Chat. And if you're listening to this and you've enjoyed this Picto Chat series, feel free to leave a comment on this video and let us know one thing that you have learned. And for our audience who'd like to stay connected with Venus, how can they reach you, Venus?
Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. And if you're a psychologist, healthcare providers, please feel free to connect with me as well. I would love to learn more about your ideas and we can talk.
That's great. And of course, you can also find the link to Venus's LinkedIn in the description below. Love to learn more about Piktochart, feel free to go to our website to find out how Piktochart can also empower you to tell your visuals in a powerful and impactful manner. So that's the end of our PictoChat today. And once again, thank you for joining us. Take care and goodbye.